One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Thank God it's freaking Friday, man. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their morning so far. I definitely know that we are. Even though I got complete shit sleep last night, which totally sucked. But hey, that's the way of the road. You know, that does happen, man. Today we got a lot going on. We have Security Council approves Gaza takeover, as well as Trump meets with Prime Minister of Armenia. I believe today is happening. I don't think it's happened quite yet. I don't have that info yet. And more. So what we're going to be going into is we have a whole bunch of these stories that are intertwined here, let's just say. Israel Security Cabinet approves plan to occupy Gaza City. And that will be our first story. Then we're going to go into FBI approves Senator John Cornyn's, I think that's how you say it, request to locate Texas Democrats. So this is regarding the whole Texas redistricting thing down there that's currently happening. Then we're going to be going into Trump orders added federal law enforcement presence in D.C. There's been some crazy violence that we are going to be able to highlight for you today. As well as of 3 hours ago, Netanyahu outlines Israel's Gaza takeover plans as well. So we have all this lined up with all the info. Then MARTA officers shot gunmen on the run. 2 officers were shot at the 5 Points MARTA station after authorities say they tried to stop a man peeing in a station's parking lot. What the fuck is going on here? And last but not least, Israel-Hamas war, the Vice President Vance discusses Gaza with UK's Lammy. So we're definitely going to be going into all of this whole ordeal. We got it all ready to go. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way in. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so, by the way. If you guys are new to the channel, hitting that subscribe button is also free. Please consider becoming a member, though, starting at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is the exact way that we get to speak the way that we do, is 100% funded by you guys. If I had to rely on advertisement or anything like that, trust me, we'd be broke over here. So thank you guys for making these very shows happen, man. Follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news. Great place to get a hold of me one-on-one. We also have a Discord link for the Discord where we continue the conversation after the show. Make sure you guys join into the Discord. We got the link down below in the description box of every single video. And last but not least, all donations, super chat, super stickers, gifted membership signups, all of these things are going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms scrolling for the remainder of the show. And I've got it ready to go on my side, so if I see anything, of course, I will call it out right away, man. But good to see everyone, man. We got a whole bunch of legends up in here. We got Brother Steve Easy as well as Gary. Good morning to you guys. TGIF. Get it on. That's right, Motobomb. Good to see you as well. We got Brother Frank up in the building. We got, let's see, Papa Penguin. Good morning, kind sir. Good to see you. As well as we got Holy Skunk saying rubs, grubs, hugs, and loves. Hey, man, I like that.
Oh, shit!
I like that. Nice to see you hanging out with us, man. I get shit sleep every night, but I'm getting, hey, listen, I get it. I get it, man. Definitely sucks. And if you gotta go, you gotta go. That's a fact. And Lucy, is she below me right now? No, she is under the couch. Nope, she's back there, I think. I don't know. Well, we'll see. She was just right here. So, anyways, she'll be around. You'll see her running around in the background. That's what she usually does. Let's see. We got Brother Dean as well. Good morning to you, as well as Tiffany. Good morning as well. Path Killer, much love, honor, respect, kind sir. Great to see you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into it. We got a lot to discuss, a lot to squeeze in here. So, we're going to start off with Israel's Security Cabinet approves the plan to occupy Gaza City. Let's figure out what the original breaking news of this, because we have two parts of this breaking news. We have this, and then, of course, Netanyahu's outline where he actually, I guess, is talking about it or whatnot. We have the entire story here. So we're going to start it off.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. We do have to return, though, briefly there to the Middle East. We do have some breaking news. Take a look at this. This is reported there by Barak Ravid at Axios, saying an Israeli official is telling him the Israeli Security Cabinet approved Prime Minister Netanyahu's proposal for the occupation of Gaza City. Now, remember, Gaza City is in the north of the Strip here.
Now, real quick, before we continue on this, just know that I have a poll going up. Well, it's already there. You guys, make sure you guys answer the poll. It doesn't show your name or anything like that. It just shows numbers. Make sure you guys vote for that. I asked you guys, do you guys support the takeover of Gaza? And one way or the other, doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to call you guys out because I can't even see who votes on that stuff. So anyways, I'm just curious to know the general consensus. But make sure you guys also hit that like button, man. Appreciate that. All right.
So the Associated Press has it as follows. They say Israel's Security Cabinet has approved a plan to take over Gaza City. The decision, taken early Friday, they say, marks another escalation of Israel's 22-month offensive. Now, the war has already killed tens of thousands of Palestinians, destroyed much of Gaza, and pushed the territory of some 2 million Palestinians toward famine. They report...
Well, thousands of Palestinians. I think it's like 60,000 that we're up to now, so thousands is not even the proper nomenclature that I would use here.
Ahead of the Security Cabinet meeting, which began Thursday and ran through the night, Netanyahu said Israel planned to retake control over the entire territory and eventually hand it off to friendly Arab forces opposed to Hamas. Now, the announced plans stop short of that, what we're bringing to you right now, perhaps reflecting the reservations of Israel's top general, who reportedly warned it would endanger the remaining 20 or so living hostages held by Hamas and further strain Israel's army after nearly 2 years of regional wars. Now, remember, we were speaking with the Foundation of Defense of Democracy's Joe Truzen about the reported dissension in the...
Yeah, you're very right about that, Papa Penguin. I think I answered this yesterday. Can Israel come back on an international scale and get the support again? I said yes, but it's not going to happen overnight. This is a very complex situation on an international scale, for sure. For sure. And by the way, Prez, she is taking a break off the internet. Nothing personal to anybody, but she is taking a break. She announced that in the Discord. So, yeah, it's in there. 60,000 according to Hamas. And yeah, here's the sad thing. There should be other organizations in there, basically to counter the numbers, according to Hamas. But they're the only number. There's only that number to believe. There is no other number, which is unfortunate. If they just allowed journalists not only into Gaza, but into Israel as a whole, they definitely should. I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate. They need to open it up where they can actually have press go in and out.
Israeli war cabinet about voting unanimously to allow Netanyahu to carry forward with his stated mission of fully occupying the Gaza Strip. It seems like they reached some type of an agreement to, at least for now, get the green light, get the go-ahead to go into Gaza City and take over Gaza City. Now, Israel, has repeatedly bombarded Gaza City and carried out numerous raids.
That sounds really good right now, just having a beer, for sure.
There,
sounds good.
Only to return to different neighborhoods again and again as militants regrouped. Today is one of the few areas of Gaza that has not been turned into an Israeli buffer zone or placed under evacuation orders. So it's unclear now how many people still reside in the city. It was Gaza's largest city before the war began. Now, hundreds of thousands, remember, fled Gaza City under evacuation orders in the opening weeks of the war, but many returned during the ceasefire at the start of this year. Now, this was the main theater of the war when Israel launched its ground offensive in late October after the October 7th terror attack by Hamas. So we had to get that in there on your radar here. We do have some more posts right now on X. Barak Ravid with this reporting saying, coming from the Israeli Prime Minister's office, they say the Security Cabinet approved the Prime Minister's proposal to defeat Hamas. The IDF will prepare to take control of Gaza City while providing humanitarian aid to the civilian population outside of the combat zones.
Isn't the entire Gaza Strip the combat zone? I mean, what the fuck?
Barak Ravid saying in his reporting, a senior Israeli official telling him this, that the operation that the IDF is currently preparing for is only in Gaza City.
Only in the actual city limits? I mean, Gaza itself is pretty damn small, but I wonder how many people are within just Gaza City. I'll have to look that up.
The goal is to evacuate all Palestinian civilians from Gaza City to the central camps and other areas by October the 7th. They say a siege will be imposed on the other Hamas militants who remain in Gaza City, and at the same time, a ground offensive will be carried out in Gaza City. The Prime Minister and the Defense Minister have been authorized to approve the IDF's final operational plan here. So this is, having covered this war since October 7th, 2023, this is eerily reminiscent of the very beginning stages of the same plan, a similar plan, when Israel launched its full-scale ground invasion in late October of 2023.
Okay,
here.
so I just looked it up. All right, I have it right here. I looked it up. All right, the current estimate for Gaza City, this is as of August 8th of 2025, okay? According to Reuters, as of August 8th, 2025, approximately 900,000 people are currently residing in Gaza City following previous evacuations and displacement. So pre-war population estimates in 2015 was around 766,331 for Gaza City, and it's actually grown by 140,000 people. That's pretty radical, actually. I don't understand why. Maybe they fled there, and maybe it was more free or more safe to be in that particular city. I don't know. I don't know the actual ordeal there, but I did look it up.
I'm seeing
What's up,
similar
Rapid of
hallmarks
Chaos? Good morning.
in the strategy. Remember, at the time, Gaza
Happy
City
Friday.
was first. They started with Gaza City. We're seeing that now. All of this as we approach the 2-year mark since Hamas invaded southern Israel and launched their regime of terror here. So in the meantime, had to get that, like I said, to you. We're going to be following any of these latest developments throughout the course of the evening.
All right, so we got that finished. Now we're going to do everything in chronological order. So we've got a couple of stories in between to finish the breaking news regarding Gaza. I don't want to exhaust you guys on Gaza and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and move on and come back into that for the latest breaking news on that. We have that queued up. But right now we're going to go into FBI approves request to locate these Texas Democrats that fled the state. So this is regarding Texas redistricting, that whole ordeal. As you guys know, we reported on it for 2-3 days in a row and explaining what has been happening. So here's the latest on the redistricting ordeal here in Texas.
Here, I do have in front of me a statement put out by one of these Democrats there in Texas in response to John Cornyn's request to FBI Director Kash Patel to get involved, to threaten arrest, to threaten finding some of these Democrats, or all of them, to bring them back to Austin. So Texas State Representative Ann Johnson says this in a statement, quote, "This isn't political theater. This is a last stand to protect our democracy, and Texans agrees." She says this. Now, after Donald Trump and Greg Abbott...
Well, here's the one thing that I got to say. Regarding these Democrats that fled, this is going to be a personal take. Regarding the Democrats that fled on this whole redistricting thing, listen, if you're willing to have these guys arrested, whatever, all I say is be ready for the equal treatment from the opposite side to you, because both sides play this gerrymandering bullshit. And I don't care what these people would love to tell you, that this is the first big fucking... No, it happens all the time. Gerrymandering is normal on both sides and legal. So if you're willing to go out there and arrest these motherfuckers and put kind of this pressure on. Just be ready for the pressure to come back on our side when that shit happens. You know what I mean? Just be prepared. And real quick, we got Bill Hicks, my man. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. I believe you're over there in from down under. So right now it's actually Saturday morning for you, but great to see you, man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. Sad state of affairs. That's true, Frank. Just like how Hollywood says.
But failed to convince the public they're weaponizing the FBI to track down their political opponents, saying this is the kind of authoritarian tactic we condemn on the world stage, and yet it's happening right here in our backyard. So strong words there. But in the meantime, we also been relying on our colleagues there at Fox 7 in Austin, including reporter Rudy Koski. He is all over this story. Let's listen.
Members of this Select Senate Committee on Redistricting Thursday held what may be the last public hearing this special session on the controversial issue.
This may be the last hearing?
The proposed map of new voting lines posted in this Capitol Extension Committee room is filed as SB4, but it's no coincidence that the lines have a familiar look.
So the House bill and the Senate bill are identical at this stage.
Senator Phil King, who filed SB4, told the committee his one map strategy is intended to beat the August 19th deadline when time runs out on the special session.
Why is that?
And
that's their sound, by the way, that little background noise bullshit. That's not us. That's them.
So I thought if we went ahead and moved this bill forward, the House already has a bill on the floor. It's already through calendars for HB4. And if they come back that they could expedite, and we have sent this bill to them, that the House could then simply...
That's interesting, Blair. I'm definitely going to look that up.
In the last days of the special session, pick up SB4 and substitute it for HB4 and pass it out.
This political end-run did not please Democrat Senator Boris Miles.
If there was going to be a fight, I wanted to be in the room.
Senator Miles was back in Austin after being in Massachusetts Wednesday with several of the quorum-breaking Texas Democrats.
This is disrespectful. It's very much disingenuous and point blank low down. Think that minority communities can take, if you think that minority communities must take and what we can get is discriminatory, you do not have to call someone a racist slur to be a racist, Mr. Chairman and members.
Real quick, what Blair just said, I believe this is the correct thing here, but this is for Massachusetts. U.S. congressional districts, 118th. And this is what Massachusetts looks like. And he says that 40%, let me go ahead and pull this up. Pull up voting districts for the state of Massachusetts. 40% of the state votes Republican, yet there is not one district that is labeled as a Republican district. Yep, and it's awesome how gerrymandering works on that aspect, and I guarantee you that these whole districts, the way that they're organized here, that of course they're going to be on a blue side for them, you know. And they, as crazy as it sounds, they're allowed to do that shit. It's fucking crazy. So anyways, let me go ahead and move you guys on back over here. Yeah, see, you guys can definitely see how manipulation of these invisible lines can be done by voting districts.
Participating in an August process, in an inherently discriminatory process, disenfranchising black and brown people is racist in all parts.
That accusation of racism was...
That's very, very true, Gary. There's actually a lot of Republicans in California, way more than people actually love to give credit for, of course. People say, oh, it's only a liberal state. Well, it is if you pay attention to the gerrymandering, you know, but by numbers, there's actually a huge amount of conservatives over there in California.
Countered by another accusation.
And they're staunch,
Senator Brian Hughes noted Republicans in other states were recently cut out of their districts.
If national voices, if leaders in other states whose voices are dutifully magnified by many in the national media, if they're going to criticize Texas and hypocritically, in the height of hypocrisy.
That's right, Brother Dean. Exactly true.
Criticize us for what we're doing. A little context is more than
Rob's
Republican
neighbor,
leaders
good morning.
admit the goal of this Texas rewrite is for political gain on Capitol Hill. Senator King argued the mid-decade rewrite is not only legal, but justified.
My objective was when I look at the policies and the harm done to the nation through those policies in the 4 previous years, everything from a 30 trillion plus deficit to what we saw at the border, to the Venezuelan gangs, to the...
So real quick, to say this, Steve, yes, he says both sides do this crap. It's nothing new. And that's the one thing that is really frustrating with situations like this, where they are making such a big deal about it. And when they make a big deal about it like this, like as if it's never fucking happened before, you get a whole bunch of people that bite on and think this is the very first time it's ever fucking happened. And this is some crazy scandal or whatever done by the Republicans, whatever. So then you get a whole bunch of low-hanging fruit content creators that go on to like TikTok and YouTube and all that shit and spew bullshit rhetoric that they know nothing about. And it's not like I know a fuck ton about gerrymandering, but I understand that it's been a thing that's been happening for a long time on both sides, and it's actually legal. So like I said, if they're willing to go ahead and arrest these Democrats that fled, just be ready for the equal treatment on our side. That's it. You know what I mean?
Fentanyl crisis, problems with Russia and China, on and on and on, that it compels me to try to help make sure that we have a Republican Congress going forward.
No matter what is done today or tomorrow regarding this map, this is all just a political theater at its finest.
And that's it?
All right,
okay,
Rudy Koski with that report with Fox 7 Austin here. I want to put up this statement here from Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn. He says this: I'm proud to announce that Director Kash Patel has approved my request for the FBI to assist state and local law enforcement in locating runaway Texas House Democrats. I thank President Trump and Director Patel for supporting and swiftly acting on my call for the...
And sadly, real quick, not to interrupt, I'll back it up a little bit, but sadly, a lot of this redistricting bullshit, voter rights laws, all this stuff, they always use black people as a political pawn to be able to do exactly that. I mean, gerrymandering was created for black people, right? You know what I mean? It's made for not the white person. It's not made for Republicans, obviously. I mean, black people, unfortunately, they have voted historically 9 out of 10 times for the Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it goes. 9 out of 10 times, they're liberal. So it works out on a different side, and they do get favored in that way a lot. They do on the left. I mean, we favor on the right too by gerrymandering too, but not to their extent. And they get to actually have that excuse. We're doing it for our people. We're doing it for black people. We're doing it. You know what I mean? So, Sick Bastard, great to see you, kind sir. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far. Always appreciate you hanging out with us. We got Pitbull over there in the UK, man. Brother Pitbull coming in saying, remember to rev that like button and drop that clutch on the share button and to wheel spin this show out of here. It's free and helps the show more than you know. That's a fact. So make sure you guys hit that like button, man. I very much appreciate you, Pitbull, over there. Hopefully you're enjoying your afternoon so far.
Federal government to hold these supposed lawmakers accountable for fleeing Texas. We cannot allow these rogue legislators to avoid their constitutional responsibilities here. So like we have been all week, we've been relying so heavily on The Texan, great outlet there, obviously, in Texas, and their senior reporter, Brad Johnson. He joins me live yet again here.
Brother Hardwire, my man. And I don't need to hear this guy. I'm going to be honest. I really don't need to hear. I don't think any of you guys need to hear this goofball, whatever. We're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to get into Trump orders added federal law enforcement presence in D.C. Now, this is a shorter little update, and then after that, we're going to get back into Gaza. Right after that is going to be Netanyahu outlines Israel's Gaza takeover plans, and that one's going to be a little bit long as well. So we're going to go ahead and, skip through some of the bullshit there and maybe end it a little early on just that. Then we're going to get into some officer shot, and then Vice President Vance and what he has to say regarding Israel-Hamas. Anyways, let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys. This is a short update here.
Let's stay in Washington. Live picture there at the White House. It's almost 10:30 there on this Thursday night in our nation's capital. Remember, here on Live Now, we've been talking about some of these recent instances of crime there in the District of Columbia that have caught President Trump's eye, so much so that he has talked about taking over control of the district, getting rid of home rule for the district, having some type of enhanced federal presence there in the district to tamp down on some of this crime. Well, that is happening. We have a statement in from Caroline.
What's up, Brother 13, my man? Good morning, and thank God it's Friday, right? Great to see you.
Leavitt, White House press secretary, she says this: Washington, D.C. is an amazing city, but it has been plagued by violent crime for far too long. President Trump has directed an increased presence of federal law enforcement to protect innocent citizens. Starting tonight, there will be no safe harbor for violent criminals in D.C. President Trump is committed to making our nation's capital safer for its residents, lawmakers, and visitors from all around the world. Well, let's go out now to the streets of D.C. Fox 5 D.C. reporter Josh Rosenthal. He joins me. Josh, good to see you here. This is just breaking in the last few minutes here, isn't it? What is this enhanced presence going to look like here?
Oh, well, Andrew, thank you for having me. I'll put it to you like this. We're in the Foggy Bottom neighborhood of D.C. This is
What's up, Brennan? Good morning.
right on the edge of George Washington University's campus. Typically, busy place like this, you would see D.C. police, maybe GW police right across the street over there. Metro stop, you'd probably see Metro Transit police.
By the way, that bus, I don't know if you guys caught that. It literally sounded like one of those smoke detector chirps. And that was the bus. I don't know if the hydraulics for the brakes or something like that, but if you guys heard that, it sounded like a freaking chirp.
DC police, maybe GW police right across the street over there. Typically, busy place like this, you would see DC.
You guys hear that? That was wild. I mean, it wasn't my soundboard. I mean, I actually have that. Shit, but that's what it sounded like.
Police, maybe GW police right across the street over there. Metro stop, you'd
What's up,
probably
Brother
see
Slim? Good
Metro
morning.
Transit police. Now, though, it appears as though we're going to be seeing an even larger law enforcement presence beginning at midnight tonight.
This has to be the best run place in the country.
So the Trump administration says D.C. residents can expect to see an increase in federal enforcement as soon as
Was Trump talking about DC is ran the best? Is that what he just said, bro? I got to hear that again. One more again.
tonight.
This has to be the best run place in the country.
Oh, it has to be. Like, this will be the best place. Okay, not necessarily this is the best run place. It will be, essentially.
So the Trump administration says D.C. residents can expect to see an increase in federal enforcement as soon as Friday. Comes days after a 19-year-old former Doge official was violently beaten during what police say was an attempted unarmed carjacking in Northwest. It also furthers a pledge the president has made about the district many times before.
We're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run. We're looking at D.C. We don't want crime in D.C.
We should govern D.C. I think the federal government should take over the governance of D.C.
Thursday afternoon, a White House official told Fox 5 details of the operation have not been finalized.
The crime is ridiculous. I could show you a chart comparing D.C. to other locations, and you're not going to want to see what it looks like.
In fact, according to police, crime is down significantly in 2025, with statistics showing year-over-year reductions in homicides, sex abuse cases, assaults with a dangerous weapon, and robberies, amounting to a 26% drop in violent crime overall.
I mean, that's awesome, but it's really hard to fucking believe in DC. DC is abnormally violent.
Do you feel safe walking around town?
Very much. I feel very safe in the city, yeah.
Hell nah. The fuck? Yeah. Meanwhile, you're saying that shit at 9:30 in the morning, you know, outside with your little backpack on. Yeah, as a tourist. Yeah, you have no idea how it is in the hood over there. What the fuck are you talking about?
Northwest Thursday, overwhelmingly, people we spoke with were against the president's plan, although not all.
I think that is probably unnecessary.
I mean, it depends on how they carry themselves. That's my honest opinion.
If you saw National Guardsmen in fatigues on the corner, you'd be okay with that?
Oh, most definitely.
Your response to the president saying he might bring in federal law enforcement as well?
Man, chill out, Donald, man. Chill for a second, man.
Chill for a second, man. Grab a little bit more of that Lieutenant Tobacco, man. I mean, I thought I was the one that was smoking kind of thing, but listen to this dude. This dude is awesome.
With that.
Oh, most definitely.
Your response to the president saying he might bring in federal law enforcement as well?
Man, chill out, Donald, man.
Chill out, Donald, man. Chill out, Donald, man.
For a second, man.
Chill out for a second, man.
Tonight, just in the past couple of hours, we did get some additional details from the White House. They say more than a dozen agencies are going to be involved in this effort and that the operation is going to last for at least 1 week. Andrew?
Josh, has Mayor Bowser's office weighed in on this?
To this point, we've not heard from Mayor Bowser. We did reach out to her office today. Also, MPD, for the most part, at least for the moment, they're staying mum.
Josh Rosenfeld there live for us. Foggy Bottom. Josh, good to see you. Great reporting. Thanks so much.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into Israel now. We're going to go ahead and talk about Gaza here for a minute. We have an update. As you guys know, we played basically the first half of the breaking news that happened earlier. Now this is our biggest update and latest update. So let's go ahead and get at it.
We start our broadcast bright and early on this Friday. We are following some breaking news as it relates to conflict.
But before we follow the breaking news, by the way, ladies and gentlemen,
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
He said it, not me. You know what I mean? But we got Brother So Loud, my man, great to see you, by the way. Shout out to you over there in the boondocks in North Carolina, my man. Always appreciate your presence and hanging out with us. Absolutely.
In the Middle East, I want to transition your screen to give you a live look at the Israel-Gaza border on this Friday.
Yeah, Steve, is he tearing up your shit yet? Has he taken one of your remotes and ate the shit out of it yet, or something like that?
The Associated Press reports that Israel this Friday says it plans to take over Gaza City in another escalation of its 22-month war with Hamas. The decision, made after a late-night meeting with top officials, drew Palestinian rejection, fueled mounting international calls to end the war, and even provoked worries in Israel over the fate of hostages still held by Hamas at this hour. We are learning Israel...
Well, that should be the number one worry right now. Is, I mean, you're going to go in there and fuck them up, you know. Listen, they're not just taking control of Gaza City above ground, okay? They're taking control of the true city of Gaza, which is underneath. If you guys know, those tunnels are, it's almost a mirror fucking image of how big it is up top, above ground. It's just as big down below, if not bigger. You know, it's radical.
Air and ground war has already killed tens of thousands of people in Gaza, displaced most of the population, destroyed vast areas, and pushed the territory toward famine. Another major ground operation would almost certainly exacerbate the humanitarian catastrophe. And speaking of that humanitarian crisis, I do want to transition your screen to give you a live look at a tent camp in Khan Yunis, Gaza, to further explain that humanitarian crisis that the Associated Press is explaining. Further details share that earlier Thursday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu outlined more sweeping plans in an interview with Fox News, saying Israel plans to take control of all of Gaza. Israel already controls around 3/4 of the devastated territory.
Wait, all of Gaza? Wait. I thought we were just talking about Gaza City originally. I mean, that they made it clear in the very beginning that it's only Gaza City. Did I hear that right? I got to back this up on what she just said right there. I know we heard the Gaza City correct.
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu outlined more sweeping plans in an interview with Fox News, saying Israel plans to take control of all of Gaza. Israel already controls...
Oh, well, yeah. He already announced that. But in this moment, not with Fox sitting down a month ago when he was talking about how he wants to take over all of Gaza. Just like I think Trump even said that regarding Israel taking it over, and then even us getting involved. And I'm like, fuck no, that is the last thing we need to do is fucking own land over there in the Middle East, quote unquote. Well, that's the last fucking thing we need to do. Dude, we're just going to be fucked up if we do some shit like that.
Around 3/4.
We have enough shit here that we could be paying all that cash money that would have gone over into Gaza. Should be going here in the United States. What the fuck is going on here?
Of the devastated territory. We do have that interview with Fox News, that exclusive interview with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Take a listen.
Oh, it's an updated interview. This ain't an interview that happened a month ago or some bullshit. Because he did do that. He did do that. Go out there and say, hey, you know, this is what we plan on doing, kind of thing. And now that the cabinet's voted, everyone's voted and approved, this is going to be interesting.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for your time today.
Well, glad to see you again.
Thank you. After this interview, you will go immediately into a meeting with your security cabinet. Will Israel take control of all of Gaza?
We intend to, in order to assure our security, remove Hamas there, enable the population to be free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance. That is not Hamas.
I didn't know that, Papa Penguin. That's an interesting scale size reference there. Gaza is about the size of Las Vegas. That's interesting, bro.
And not anyone advocating the destruction of Israel. That's what we want to do. We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas. And you were in the Gaza Strip today. You met Palestinians who are fighting Hamas because finally they see that they have a future. They can rid themselves of this awful tyranny that not only holds our hostages, but holds 2 million.
I think that Netanyahu is completely wrong in this analysis right here.
Million Palestinians in Gaza hostage. That's got to end.
Are you saying today that you will take control of the entire 26-mile Gaza Strip, as it was 20 years ago to this month in 2005?
Well, we don't want to keep it. We want to have a security
Thank you,
perimeter.
Brother 13.
We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life. That's not possible with Hamas. The only way that you're going to have a different future is to get rid of this neo-Nazi army. The Hamas are monsters. Look at what they're doing to our people. Look at what they're doing.
You mean what they did do and what they're doing to 50 hostages?
To the way they massacred.
Look at the way they treat their own people. I mean, it's terrible, but...
Raped, beheaded our people, our men and women, burned our babies. And they are really cruel to their own people, because when we try to take them away from the combat zones, they shoot them. They want people to be civilian casualties. They want a starvation policy that they...
So does Israel, dude. That's... Yeah, come on, man.
...themselves are trying to put into being, and we're doing everything to reverse that. They have to go. I think President Trump has said it. You know, you have to see two things in Gaza. You have to see Hamas eliminated, and you have to have the hostages released, and he's absolutely right.
There are 20 hostages that the Israelis believe are still alive. And in recent events, the closer the IDF got to them, many of them were killed. Are you prepared for that?
We're doing everything in our...
Well, they say right now there may be 20 alive and 30 that or more dead. So they say that's 50 hostages total, but the numbers of dead to alive, they're saying 20 alive, 30 unalived. You know what I mean?
Our power to salvage the hostages. We've, in the beginning, the second day of the war, I think, a senior command official in Israel said...
Yes, definitely. Please,
you're going to have to get used to the idea that we're not going to see any of them alive.
All of us.
And I said, no, I don't agree with that. I think with a combination of the right military tactics and international pressure, we can get all of them, and certainly most of them, out. So far, we got out of 255, we got 205 released. 148 of them are alive. Nobody believed that. And I believe we can get the others, but we have to combine the right tactics, military tactics. Without military pressure, nothing works.
Yesterday, I spoke with LaRon Berman. He has two brothers.
Yes.
His family believes they are still alive. He said the following: my advice to you, speaking to the Prime Minister, by all means necessary, we need to bring them back for stability in the region, for the future of Israel. It's a tough decision, but we will handle everything, meaning Israel. What do you say to the families of the hostages?
That's exactly what we're trying to do. People say you can't both release the hostages and eliminate Hamas, and I disagree. I think so far we've shown that we can, and I intend to complete the job. But we have three missions. One, to eliminate the Hamas as a governing and military power in Gaza. Otherwise, there's no future for anyone. And we'll have many more kidnappings and many more hostages. Second, achieve the liberation of all our hostages. And third, make sure that Gaza doesn't pose a threat to Israel again. And we're well on our way to achieve all three. Now, there are difficulties because there's so much vilification and misrepresentation in the press. There's an attempt to put blame on Israel for the interdiction of humanitarian supplies that Hamas is interdicting, and Israel is, the international community is delivering the blame to Israel. They're doing everything to rob these food trucks. They're taking the food for themselves and then jacking up the price for the remaining supplies to their own population. That's monstrous.
We have seen some of that, and you're right about that. And you're also right
And I've called that out the entire time regarding Hamas doing that to their own people. It's fucking absurd. It's insane. I've talked about many times, for an example, of how much it costs for a fucking single cigarette in Gaza. $10, by the way. $10 for a single fucking cigarette. Yo.
We went into Gaza while we've been here this week, and we were in the southern town of Rafah, near the Sinai Desert in Egypt, and that town has been flattened. And you have been accused of genocide. How do you respond to that?
Well, as Ambassador Huckabee said, if we're practicing genocide, we're surely doing a very bad job of it, because we could have, basically eliminated the entire population of Gaza, but we went the other direction. We did something that no army in history ever did. We're supplying humanitarian food to the enemy's population because we distinguish between combatants and non-combatants. We put in 2 million tons of food. I mean, if we wanted to commit genocide,
that's Chicago prices. How dare they? Yo, that's funny, 13.
Give 2 million tons of food to the population. And also the reason you see the flattened buildings is because Hamas booby traps every single building. So when we come in, we first have the population moved, even though Hamas tries to keep them in the combat zones. But after they move, and we start to move into the neighborhoods that are now populated only by terrorists, they ignite these booby traps. So what we do is we put in an APC, an armored personnel carrier, with a lot of explosives, detonate it. It sets off all the booby traps, and the buildings begin to collapse as a result of that. They're empty buildings. They're not populated buildings. Secondly, they've built this underground terror tunnel network with billions of dollars that they had. They didn't build Gaza up. They built a Gaza terror city.
That's correct. And the reason why they dug the tunnels they did, and let me go ahead and explain in layman's terms. When your enemy owns the air, you have no fucking choice but to go down. That's just the way it goes. And it's insane. And I heard that I literally got that quote from one of the like main generals or whatever they call them over there for Hamas. I heard him say that. I was like, wow. Like he goes, when your enemy owns the air, you have no other choice but to go below. And I was like, wow, that's fucking wild.
Underground. So we now detonate the tunnels. The tunnels explode, and they take down the buildings that are above the tunnels. And the reason you see this devastation is not because Israel is wiping out these structures filled with civilians. It's because they've been booby-trapped by Hamas, and that's the kind of warfare that we have to win.
I'm hearing you say that you deny this charge of genocide.
Totally.
That's what you're saying.
Totally.
But last week, and you referred to it a few moments ago, President Trump mentioned the word starvation, and he pretty much said it is what it is.
Yo, Glare, that is a wild band name. Oh, my God. That is the W comment for the day, by the way. I just got to say, that's pretty funny. Glare says, Terror Tunnel is the name of my new band. Sounds badass, dude. I want to get featured on that album.
From his observation, looking at video and pictures. Were you surprised by that?
No, look, I think President Trump has been terrific. He's supporting us in so many ways. And he understands that we have to get rid of Hamas. He understands that Hamas is also using their own interdiction tactics to prevent humanitarian aid going. So there's been shortages, no question about that. There's been also suffering. And what I intend to do with President Trump, we talked about that and agreed upon that, is to overcome this with a humanitarian surge. So we're opening up safe routes through which aid trucks can go through. We're going to try to quadruple the distribution points that are manned by Americans. And they're doing a hell of a job distributing food to Gazans without Hamas taking over the food. And that's really what we're doing. And airdrops that we intend to do, we're already doing. And we invite other countries to join us. So it's Israel that's doing now, and has been doing for some time, an effort to give humanitarian aid to the population without letting the Hamas terrorists take it, steal it for themselves, and sell it at exorbitant prices.
Has President Trump given the green light for your plan to take over the remaining 25% of Gaza and occupy all of it?
Well, you know, he understands that it's Israel who's going to do the fighting. It's not American soldiers.
Did he give you a yes?
Well, he just says, I know Israel will do what it has to do, and we haven't got into that kind of discussion. But we have gotten into a discussion on two things. One, the humanitarian surge that we're going to do, which will precede our final military action, because I want the population to be in safe zones, to have food, water, sewage, electricity, medical help. I want to free 2 million Gazans from Hamas terrorism. The second thing that we agree on is that the day after has to have certain principles. I'm not talking about a detailed plan yet because I think that'll be developed. But the 5 principles, the key principles are these. 1, Hamas has to lay down its arms. 2, Gaza has to be demilitarized. 3, all the hostages have to be released. And 4, Israel will be responsible for overall security. So if there's an attempt to have a resurgent Hamas or resurgent terrorism, you know, we're the ones who are going to take care of it. And 5, let Gaza be governed by a civilian authority that is not Israel, because I don't want to occupy Gaza forever. I don't want to govern Gaza. I want to have a different governance there.
So how does the different governance work when it's a one-state thing? Like, you get to play pretend government over there while we really actually run the shit?
That basically is willing to live in peace with Israel and give Gazans a different future. That's entirely different from these unbelievable lies that are leveled against us, frankly against me too, by the international press that doesn't care to check the facts. It just takes Hamas statistics, Hamas arguments, it just swallows them hook, line, and sinker, and delivers this vilification of the one democracy, the one Jewish state that is fighting people who massacred. It's the equivalent of the massacre of thousands and thousands of Americans. The rocketing of American cities, nobody would stand for that.
Come back to my experience inside Gaza this week. We went to an aid distribution site, food distribution site. Your own soldiers have been accused of killing innocent Gazans who are in line for food. That's the accusation, almost on a daily basis. Can you defend that?
Yeah, I could deny it because it's a Hamas accusation. They're the ones offered.
He said, yeah, we can deny it. Look from the source it's coming from. Shit.
Doing the shooting. and waiting for our soldiers to respond. And in fact, very often they don't respond. But all these stories are repeated ad nauseum, and the people don't even bother to check the facts. We're doing everything that we can to avoid civilian casualties. And in fact, if you look at it, I mean, the town of Rafah that you saw all that, right?
All of it.
Right, okay. So I told you why there was devastation, because we moved the population out and then went to and dealt with the booby traps that were there. And we killed a lot of terrorists there. You know how many civilians we killed there? Practically none. Why? Because we told them, please leave. We showered them with leaflets. We called them millions of text messages and many other means to get them out, and they walked out. They walked out 2 miles to the coast, where they had a safe zone, and practically no civilians were killed. That nobody describes, nobody talks about. Israel is doing things that no army in history has done. Colonel John Spencer, who's the head of urban warfare studies at West Point, he said that he scoured all of modern history. He said no army.
Yeah, this shit is wild. And I think somebody, you said it actually best, sick bastard. What a circus. Yeah, dude, this shit is wild.
The world has done that. And yet Israel is, of course, accused again and again and again by fake reports, by Hamas statistics that
Be
are
safe out there, Brother Galera.
And
See on the flip side.
if you repeat a lie often enough.
Real quick, and he is right about what he's about to say right there. I'll back it up. We got Miss Lotus, by the way. Good morning to you. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far. But yes, he's very right. When you repeat a lie, you repeat it enough, it becomes quote unquote fact that it actually happened, or whatever the case is. It happens all the time. We watch that in politics all the time. It's a thing from both sides of the aisle. They both do it.
It's by Hamas statistics that are fake. And if you repeat a lie often enough, it assumes the cachet of self-evident truth. It's still a lie.
Now, your chief of army says your military is exhausted. It's almost 2 years of war. And I mentioned 20 years ago this month, Ariel Sharon made the decision to get out of Gaza, bring the settlers out, and it's been that way ever since, and Hamas moved in. But you have 10 million people who live in this country.
That's right.
And they have a lot of opinions.
Yeah. Well,
is it possible?
Damn. I didn't know it was 10 million. Oh, well, I guess I know what he's saying. He's saying in Israel. I got you. Okay, I thought he was talking about Hamas there for a sec. Gaza. I was like, holy shit. There's no way there's 10 million people over there. But now it makes sense what he's talking about, Israel.
Democracy,
Is it possible for you?
What's up, GEG? Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you.
2 years into
Good morning.
this war.
Oh, I'm sure we can. I mean, there's an organized and systemic campaign against us. That's part of democracy. I accept it, although a lot of it is foreign funded by the same people who also encourage the demonstrations on your campuses and so on. But I'll tell you one thing, the people are united. Not every last one. This is not a dictatorship. But, when it's a seven front war, and look at what we did. We were attacked. We were on the verge. Everybody thought this is the end of Israel on October 7th, when Hamas cruelly invaded us and those monsters took the hostages and murdered the men and raped the women and beheaded. It's beyond belief.
We know.
Burned babies, okay? And everybody said, oh, Israel is gone. And I said on the second day of the war, I said, we're going to change the face of the Middle East. And we went against Hamas. Then we went against Hezbollah, the terror proxies of Iran. Then we had the downfall of the murderous Assad regime in Syria. And then we went after Iran, and President Trump joined us, which was a magnificent act of solidarity against a common enemy. Everybody said, oh, well, Israel's not going to be together, but it is. Now we have to complete the job of eliminating basically the last proxy of Iran that's still standing.
And this is your job to sell it to your people.
Well, I don't have to, believe me.
I don't know how much they're standing. It's not like that they're still an actual threat to Israel at this point, aside from their fucking hostages. Why isn't Netanyahu really tuning into that?
People are selling it to me. I go into Gaza as you went in. You've been to Rafah? I've been to Rafah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Talk to the soldiers. Talk to the division commanders. You know what they tell me? They tell me, Prime Minister, don't bother with the press. Just press on with the mission of liberating Gaza from these murderers. And we can do the job. We can separate the civilians from the combatants. We can eliminate Hamas. We can liberate the remaining hostages. Let us do the job. That's what the soldiers that cut across Israeli society are telling us. Doesn't mean that they make it to the mainstream channels. Doesn't mean that they make it to the foreign press. In fact, they don't. But if I had to run the country based on these vilifications, I shouldn't be here. Because leaders should do what is right and what will withstand the test of time. And what will withstand the test of time is that in hour of peril, Israel didn't slumber like other democracies often do. In the face of this challenge to our existence, we took on a seven-front war, won it, and secured the peace, and expanded the peace.
By the way, they're not a complete democracy, but they are a democracy. Theoretically, they are considered somewhat of a democracy. But do you know that you guys can't vote over there if you're Israeli, right? You can't vote for a person. You can only vote for a party. That's all you can vote for. So whatever the party decides to put in, that's who you get to vote for. So you do get to vote, but only on a political party stance. That's it. So anyways, back to this.
After this victory, expanding the Abraham Accords, creating a different Middle East, that's what we're in the process of doing. The last part is hard, but it's doable, and we'll do it.
Let me come back to the Abraham Accords, because the president made news on that earlier today. In America, there has been a considerable rise in anti-Semitism, especially on American college campuses.
Yeah.
How did Israel, especially for Americans under the age of 30, young Americans, how did Israel lose this argument? Or maybe the better question would be, how do you win them back?
Well, I think we will. First of all, you win by winning and shortening the war. And President Trump has given us the support to finish this war as quickly as possible. Of course, we have to contend with the campaign of vilification that is done by so-called reputable news media. I mean, the New York Times puts out a major story on the front page, a Palestinian mother holding a child, starved supposedly, and then it turns out that that child has cerebral palsy. It's a congenital disease. He has a brother who's well-fed, family is well-fed, but it's put out this thing, and then it corrects it with a denial the size of a postage stamp buried in the back pages. No, we can't work by lies. How do we win? Eventually, the truth gets out. It takes time. People will see the humanitarian surge. People will see our efforts to prevent civilian casualties. People will compare what has happened here to other urban warfare sites that were not nearly as dense, as difficult, without this, 50 meters below ground, these terror tunnels, and yet Israel will triumph, will succeed in this mission. And most of the people, I can't say 100% of the people, but most of the people are united, and ultimately, this is democracy.
So instead of shifting that argument on the media, whether it's the New York Times or maybe the Gazan Health Ministry, putting out, because you've said repeatedly in this conversation that they exaggerate, will you allow more independent reporters to go into Gaza and see it for themselves?
That's my conclusion. In fact, that's my instruction as of this morning to the military.
Oh, no way. That would be fucking awesome if that happens.
And I said, that's exactly what you should be doing. Those who are lying are going to continue lying. But give honest journalists the ability to see the truth. A, the fact that we're trying to get civilian aid, humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza, the efforts that we're making there. B, to understand and explain why those buildings are destroyed, because they're booby-trapped, and we clear the population. And I'm glad you were in. I'm glad you did this thing. I'm glad, in fact, I would say you're blazing the trail. But there have been others, and we have the same result.
That's
Every
right,
time
13.
People see it,
That's
they
a
see
huge
it in
W.
a more realistic way, in a more honest way than the way that it's presented in, unfortunately, the New York Times and others. New York Times should be sued. I'm actually looking at whether a country can sue the New York Times, and I'm looking into it right now because I think it's such clear defamation. I mean, you put a picture of a child that's supposed to then represent all these supposedly starving children, yet they put in this picture of a child who has cerebral palsy. Then they took another picture somewhere else in other media, a child who had cystic fibrosis, got nothing to do with starvation, or another child that we actually sent to Italy to be cured. And Israel is accused.
But still, you can see there is suffering on behalf
there is suffering
in Gaza.
Yes, because Hamas is interdicting aid, exactly. And what we're doing is overcoming it. I don't deny that there's suffering. I want to end the suffering. And I want to end it by ending Hamas rule. Would you like to be governed by 20,000 armed monsters who shoot you in the back of the head
couch.
if you try to leave a war zone, who shoot you if you say, I want to have my freedom from Hamas? We now have Gazans fighting Hamas. They finally have the courage to do that because they see that Israel is progressing and they think that we're going to win. So they're not afraid anymore to stand up for their own rights. And they have their separate schools, they have separate programs, because they don't want to educate their children for endless fanatic warfare, which is what Hamas is teaching. Hamas is saying, death to Israel, death to America. They hate everything that a free society stands for. And ultimately, the people of Israel understand it. And I think ultimately, the free peoples of the world
What's
will.
up, Brother Code? My man, good morning. And hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning. Thank God it's Friday. Absolutely, man. Good to see you.
I have one more question, but I want to clarify something if I could. Sure. You've said a few times now that the buildings in Rafah that we saw had tunnels underneath them. There's no way for us to see that when we're there physically with our own eyes. But you're saying all these buildings were booby-trapped?
All.
And they were not hit by the Israeli Air Force?
No, what I'm saying is...
Because it is building after building.
Well, these
house
are,
after house.
remember, these houses are empty to population. In the beginning of the war, I remember my visit to Washington, and I was told under the previous administration, they said, you know, there are 1.4 million people in Gaza, in Rafah, because we moved the population away from war zones. And they all concentrated in Rafah. Then we wanted to eliminate Rafah. It's like, you know, we were told, don't go in there. And I said, what do you mean don't go in there? It's like the Allies are, you know, take over Germany. And finally they're told, don't go into Berlin. Don't go into Berlin and leave the German army, 25% of the German army intact. I said, of course I have to go in. But they said, but there are all these civilians. And I said, okay, we'll make sure that they leave. In the streets, they boob.
We already heard all of that. Basically, I'm skip ahead a little bit here.
It's
almost over.
That's what you did in your war zones, too.
The reason why this point is important for me to understand is we only saw one part of Gaza, and we did not see the rest of it, the town of Rafah, as I referred. Last question, sir, if I could, please. The president earlier today put on Truth Social that he wants all the Middle Eastern countries to join the Abraham Accords. Who are the holdouts?
Well, you know who we have peace with.
What's up, Dragon Classy?
If you look
Good
at
morning.
the other countries, they're the ones that are potential and real potential candidates for this. And I think, look, the president and I joined forces with the Arab leaders and had the Abraham Accords, which were historic changes, a real change in the Middle East. We had 4 peace treaties with 4 Arab nations in a very short time. And in fact, I think that the attack on October 7th, among other things, it was meant to destroy Israel, but it was also meant to destroy the possibility of peace between Israel and the leading Arab country, Saudi Arabia. So obviously we like to see, with the elimination of Hamas and the Iran terror axis, which has been our war. Our war in the last 2 years has not been with Hamas only, it's been with Iran and all its terror proxies and its attempts to develop nuclear weapons.
Other than Iran, who would be a party to this deal?
Well, Iran could be too if the people of Iran rise.
Is that an invitation?
It's been something that I think that many of them want. Many of them want to relieve themselves of that tyranny. And they openly say, you know, I send videos to them, and I'm amazed. Bill, I'm amazed. Millions and millions of respondents from Iran, sometimes with their names and even their faces. You can't believe that they're doing that, but it shows you the thirst for liberation there. So, but if the liberation of Iran will happen, it'll happen because we delivered a very strong blow to Iran's seeming invincibility, and the people will rise from within. But who are the countries that we know we could make peace with once we finish the war in Gaza? Yeah. I think there are at least 5 or 6 countries here in the Middle East. And President Trump and I have talked about it a great deal. And he's been just...
Look at the countries that, you know, I know it's kind of crazy to think about, but the Middle East, it's a wild, volatile, even though they're like willing to backstab each other and put money behind each other's back, and everyone knows it. Oh, you know, everyone knows it's happening. I don't know, man. It's just, you know, look at the theoretically, the Middle East where Trump went to on his tour. Look at those kind of areas. You're going to see those are going to be the allies there.
An unbelievable partner.
When'd you talk to him last?
If he's not going to say
2 days ago.
Okay, so this week.
If he's not going to actually announce it.
No, I think it was last week, I think. But we talk every week or so.
You talked to Vladimir Putin recently?
Yes.
A couple times?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
Well, I can tell you what I told him. I said that I took note of the fact that he said that Iran should not have nuclear enrichment, which is the American position, and our position. I thought that was very good. And I also said that I hoped that he'd come to an agreement with President Trump.
On your grade.
Right.
We'll see if we get that piece.
No.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Shit.
Mr.
All right. Real
All
quick,
right, so you just...
let's see here. Prime Minister of Israel came out. Obviously, Netanyahu is saying the security cabinet has approved the prime minister's... Oh, okay, it's coming out of his office. Proposal for defeating Hamas. The IDF will prepare for taking control of Gaza City while distributing humanitarian assistance to the civilian population outside the combat zones. All right, so let's go ahead and move on real quick. We're going to end off with this last update here. We're not going to be able to have enough time to be able to go into what Vance was saying about Israel-Hamas war. He just did that earlier today with the UK on a weird stage. I didn't even watch it yet, but I will watch it later. But we're not going to, get into that. We're going to get into this last story. It's a very short update here. It says MARTA officer shot, gunman on the run. This happened 3 hours ago. Over there in Fox, Atlanta is reporting this. 2 officers were shot at the 5 Points MARTA station after authorities say they tried to stop a man peeing in the station's parking lot. What the fuck is happening in this world, dude? Stupid. Jesus.
We are following some breaking news in downtown Atlanta. That's where overnight 2 MARTA police officers were shot. The shooting started after the officers caught a man urinating in the 5 Point station parking lot. We want to check in now with Fox 5 Atlanta's Mark Teichner. He joins us live this morning at Grady Memorial Hospital, where the
Yo, we got Brother Bob up there in Canada. My man, good to see you, by the way.
Officers are being treated.
Good morning.
Mark, good morning to you.
Yeah, we got some new information. The shooting actually took place on the platform for the 5 Point station here in downtown Atlanta. MARTA Police, MARTA is the train station, the subway, if you would, for Atlanta. And these 2 police officers at about 11:30 or so last night, according to the chief of police for MARTA, noticed a man who was urinating on the platform. They approached him and confronted him. They say he got irate. Next thing you know, they decided they were going to arrest him. And that's when the chief says the man fired multiple rounds at the officers over his shoulder. Now, one of the officers, a male, was struck in the arm. He's currently being treated here in the hospital in the ICU. A female officer was grazed in the knee. She, although, was also complaining of hearing loss because these shots were fired at such close range. The female officer did return fire, but it appears that the suspect got away. MARTA used station cameras.
What's up, brother Steve Posey, my man? Good morning, and TGIF, my man.
Cameras to determine that the suspect jumped on a train and went a couple of stops before getting off. They then searched that area, and that's where they found the weapon. They think he tried to actually throw it on the roof of that train station. Police have managed to identify the man that they are looking for. They've not released his name, but they are using a fugitive task force to try to track him down. As you can imagine, while all of this was playing out, they had to divert the train traffic away from that original stop, which caused some delays for passengers.
Brother Dallas, my man as well. Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you.
But it was just saying there was a medical emergency.
That's radical that you wrote to it.
They can't stop at 5 Points, basically. Lady just said that we got to get off.
Shit.
At a train station, Petrie Center. Yeah, she wasn't really telling her where to go for real. She just told
her. Yeah, for real, though.
To get out, she told her just go upstairs. There's going to be a bush or something.
Shit.
At this point, the name of the man who they're looking for hasn't been released. We have been told that the officers are fairly new to the department, a couple of years or so. We're hoping to be able to get an update, a condition update on them, as well as potentially the name of that suspect. If we do, you can follow it here on fox5atlanta.com. For now, though, that is the latest from here in downtown Atlanta. I'm Mark Teichner for Live Now from Fox.
Man, that's freaking crazy, bro. We're going to be keeping you guys updated as always. But listen, tomorrow is not any of the world's madness. We're going to be going into probably some police. Actually, it is world madness. Theoretically, I was thinking I was going to do some Ratchet 304s, but I think the last members only I did some Ratchet 304s. So maybe we should go into, the police body cam footage shit. I love doing those. Those are really actually fun for me, and I think all of you guys have been enjoying it, so it's awesome. Real quick, Papa Penguin says, it's Atlanta. That town has always been in a different orbit for some reason. Yep. I get you, bro. Anyways, listen, much love, honor, respect to all of you guys. Thank you guys for making these very shows happen. We're going to be back, Monday morning for more of the world's madness on the reporting side of things. But we're going to have a good-ass time tomorrow morning in members only, 10 a.m. CST, same time I go live Monday through Friday. So, with that being said, much love, honor, respect, everybody. God bless everyone, and we'll see you guys very soon. Be safe out there.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burns.